Now you might have this font Bernard on your screen, on your computer font application. But if not, just going to use the times to build this up, stretching this out. And again, you have the tracking and the kerning to try to be aware of. So when I look at this lettering, just trying to get it to the right size just by scaling it. You could always just use the font to create that, making this times bold just so that it has the serif selected on here. And the same idea with the paragraph. In this case, just going to keep it aligned left, which is that icon right there. So if you've forgotten. And then the tracking and the kerning, just increasing the space. Now if you just click on it with the arrow, you can also increase it with the section, and knowing that it's going to be a couple hundred, maybe 300 for that part. So it gives you at least that selection. Make sure it's okay. It says the type. They don't really want the type as their sign, but just so you can see it. Selecting all of this. But it'll give you the option. So when you select it all, it'll give you this particular piece. So that's the setting for that. And again, the tracking of the kerning, if you show more options in the type, it gives you all the other bits, parts, and pieces for that selection, vertical and horizontal text. But you can adjust it from here, and also the point size. So you could, I'm going to minimize this down just a bit, which would increase the tracking for that. And you can see that the particular font could be a little bolder. I'm going to click inside here and just use the option and push that space over. And if you selected this and gave it a stroke, that's going to give you the indication of a little bit thicker there. So you can highlight that piece there. So it does give you that selection for it. And then it's just a matter of doing the outer edge of the sign there. Putting it on like that. So you can increase it that direction. Okay, and then the outside section of this sign, I'll just take that off. So now I can use the rounded section for that piece. Just keep it so that it's a stroke on the outside edge. So you can kind of see it from there. Just use the eyedrop tool for the coloring of it. And Shift X to keep it just as the stroke that's out there. Okay. Now these two pieces that are lines, just take the line segment tool. Shift key this across. Hit the D or default for that to set it so it's fill in the stroke for there. And that'll get you there. So the option duplicated for here. And then the last part is just need to do this one time. So just kind of zooming in on this selection here. And just do one to duplicate it, looking at the interior part of this. Shift key, and just coming straight down just to get part of this in here. Taking this selection off. And here's the strokes, just going to minimize this a bit. And then use the width tool to go ahead and create this piece. This letting you come down to the bottom, straightening this part out. And this is still just a path, so you could keep it as a path. Take the selection, click right on this part, option key it, and hit copy, and then just select the two of them and join them together. So now it's joined together. Just place it up to here, had it on there, maybe not. Yeah, this part here. So selecting it, taking the reflect tool, click right on the point. The Smart Guides tells you that it's there. And seeing if this will work here, joining that together. In fact, I'm just going to outline this under Object Path. Duplicate it over here. So the object path, outline it, and they're both selected, so I'm just going to drag that together and just shorten this up. So that creates that selection. And then just to duplicate this to the opposite side. So on the type, before I just had it in the paragraph under line section, I'm just going to keep it so that it's centered, and click on this guy, and just click approximately in the middle just to get it over here, and hit copy, just push that over here. So when that's selected, just select all these parts. So this one, just group that together. These two, group this together. And this, and I have all of these parts with the Align tool, just clicking on a key object to center them, and that'll give me that selection. This one, you can just switch that and send it to the back. Okay. So now you kind of have that sign selected. This outside edge, just increase it just a little bit. You can take this part, copy it, and then just tab key this right into Photoshop. Just going to go to image rotation, so I'm changing the direction of this, pasting this in as pixels, and this will give me that selection. Now again, as you have these layer styles, you can obviously just put a couple images down. If I want to separate the black edge, I could have done it prior, but this case I have it in here. If I just select one of these that's just connected, if I take contiguous off, it'll take everything that's black on the outside edge. So I'm just going to go to a new layer and just hit the default and fill that with black right there. So that gives you that connection, and selecting everything that's on this layer. So there's a couple ways that you can do this part by elevating that, so you can separate this a little bit. So all that happened was taking it as a selection. You could have brought it over in separate pieces, but there's a transparent with the layer gradient right there, and that gives you that piece right to there. Okay. And then just take a screen capture of that piece right there.